Welcome to Viral Hive and the Power Hour with Alan Goldberg and his crew. My name is Don Warner from WarnerEntertainment.com. We encourage you to visit us at our website and see over 4,000 different martial arts media products, including videos, DVDs, books, and lots more. That's www.warnerentertainment.com, spelled www.warrener entertainment.com. And thank you very much.
All right, welcome to the Action Martial Arts Power Hour. This is the show where we talk about everything martial arts related, everything not martial arts related. We don't even know what the topics are gonna. We try hard. This is Alan Goldberg's brainchild, and let me bring him on because he's the guy. He's the man. Alan, how are you?
But all those words are saying that we just don't have any idea what the hell we're talking
I have no
about.
clue. No clue.
Oh, we know. We really do know. And we got great guests again. A very dear friend of mine and an honorable man. I think the guy that really gave the word mixed martial arts to Q many years ago, and I know most people will agree with me, is also Terry Casal, very dear friend and a good man, good heart, and we're honored to have him with us. I'm not going to ask you the questions. We're going to have the FBI ask you the questions. It's Joe Robello, FBI. That's your new name, Joe. Joe Robello, FBI man. And a little story I also will say, we were just talking off the air about when the first time he met Joe, he was very set back, to say the least. So, set back, to say the least. So at this point, we bring our friend Wikipedia Joe, what we really call him, and also knows Kepler Joe, onto the show and to talk about our special guest tonight also.
Well, I'm really excited. I just found out that also was going to be here again. The legendary Tayari Cassell, one of the legendary American martial artists who really brought the Chinese martial arts into the forefront through periodicals and magazines like Official Karate. His legendary 2 battles. You can't call them fights; they were battles. At Aaron Banks' Oriental World of Self-Defense. And of course, those 2 fights were respectively against Little John Davis from Sanukas Ryu and then later Kumite Ryu Jiu-Jitsu. And then, of course, his legendary battle with Benny the Jet Urquidez. And besides that, like I said, numerous articles on everything from the Youth Fist, from Long Fist Kung Fu, his training in Northern Praying Mantis Kung Fu, and then his exploit and journey into snake style Kung Fu, as well as his weapons arts and his exploration into the African martial arts and demonstrating all those skills in tournament competition. And it's an honor and a privilege to when I finally got to meet him. And you know, it was great when I got the call after we had done the Power Hour with him, where Alan basically called me up and says, Tayari calls me up and goes, "Who the hell is this guy, and how does he know all this stuff about me?" Excuse me, I'm recovering. I'm still recovering a little bit. But yeah, and that makes my day when I get and that was the first of at least 6 people who all called him up after the show, going, "Who is this? How does he know this stuff?" And it's an honor and a privilege.
Getting on there with Tayari and give him a few minutes to talk and what he's up to lately. And let's bring Tayari on. Tayari, how are you, brother?
Magnificent. And as Sifu Goldberg always knows, when I'm at that magnificent event that he produces in Atlantic City, for all these years, whenever I step up to the microphone, the first thing that I always say is, "In the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful, the giver and sustainer of all life, and from whom all blessings flow, and to whom all praise is due." And so we gather tonight in fellowship, in friendship, to share our memories, and then also our projections for the future, but acknowledging the present that we are in. And these are interesting and troubling times, trying times. But friendship is supposed to rise above differences. And so I'm going for the friendship because we can be different in understanding, but we still can be friends if we follow principle. And so thank you, sir, for inviting me to be a part of this particular hour, this particular expression that we all are enjoying.
Thank you very much, Tyra. You know, it's something, most of our guests know who you are. Most of the people are involved in what we do. Our audience is growing all the time. And just like Action Martial Art Convention and what we do, it's growing all the time. We're up to actually 33 countries now. This week was 30. We're up to 33 countries. Someone from today, from Romania, just contacted me, and they're doing it's a film, but I don't understand exactly how they're setting it up yet. I'll get more information tomorrow. But they want me to come on and talk about the event in all the countries and what happens at our event. So, one of the proudest things I have to say anytime it goes on is that we have such an international crowd and that it's growing. I have to be honest, I got another email that I don't even know how many other countries we have on there. Some other people gave me some other people. But what I want to speak about a little bit, it's enough about me. Everyone knows who I am already. But I want to know about the first fight you had, and with Little John that was, and how that came about, where it really was in your mind to do something like that. Because again, there was never anything like that done. That's why I say you're one of the fathers of mixed martial arts. You brought something to and Little John was a karate man, basically, and a jiu-jitsu man, but he was a formulated fighter where you brought all many different arts together to fight that fight and others. So where did you get this whole idea to even fight at that thing?
Wow, well, you really threw me. Excuse me, because you said, tell me about your first fight. And the first thing that come to my mind was, well, I was 4 years old, and the guy's name was Paul Williams, and he was 6 years old. And no. I punched him and hit him. And then I remember what my mother told me. She said, if you get involved in a fight, you hit the person with a brick, bottle, or a stick. I got it. My mother's was my mother was a gangster. And so when you said, talk about your first fight, and I was going, oh God, do I have to tell this story? But to talk about the match with Grandmaster Soki Little John Davis, the issue, or not issue, but it just goes back further, because that was in June 1974. I think it was June 2nd, Madison Square Garden, and 19,567 people. And what was interesting was the buildup to the fight. And the buildup to the fight was that we never fought. Out of all of the tournaments in New York, and I was cheated for 2 years. It was only because of me fighting two people that I finally got recognized. And it was a buildup, and I'm not sure, because my mind is going back to memory. We got to go back in and then pull it back. And so here I am at Aaron Banks tournament in Sunnyside Gardens. And I think Aaron had a tournament every month or something like that. A bunch of times, you all can correct me. I mean, but he had them. But I had competed in a couple of other tournaments. But the point is that I come to this one tournament when I'm there, and I'm hearing that, well, just wait. Okay, just wait. But I'm in the middle of the ring, and I'm fighting whoever this guy is. Grandmaster Moses Powell is the center referee. And as I'm going through the movements, all of a sudden, in walks Soki Little John Davis. But all the black belts are already fighting. But the king has come. And he comes into the tournament. He's walking down wherever that was, where we are at Sunnyside Gardens. And Grandmaster Moses Powell stopped the match. He turned to Little John and he said, "Watch him." And we still didn't fight that day. And what I always interpreted was that the creator wanted something better and something bigger, because why would I have been there all that time, competing all that time, and I still never stood in front of this man? And so I only attributed to the part of the creator said, I want everybody to see you work. So I'm going to put you two in Madison Square Garden, considered the mecca of sports events. Then you all get a chance to do what you do with each other. Did I answer the question, or did I just go on?
Very well. And I was a nobody at the time. I came to see a fight, and I saw two guys that impressed me. And the real truth of the matter, we're going to do something a little more down the line when we have the capability of doing it, and we're working on it with Vero Hive right now. Again, introducing Vero Hive, people should know who haven't been on, but we're coming to a lot of new technology. So what I want to do is I want to bring you on and Little John one day.
Okay.
And show the video of you guys fighting and have you overtalk the video of what's going on during the fight. And I don't care if you guys argue.
I would love to do that. I can tell you now that part of my conversation is going to be, you hit me there.
Right.
You shouldn't have hit me there.
Right.
And you hit me there too.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what when it's going to be. And we're only going to do it when we're really prepared to do it the right way. Okay? Because we're building technology. And to say the least, I think anyone that's in our age group and maybe a little below us are going to love it, because everyone remembered that. That was like, and then the fight with Benny Adet, we'll do that also eventually down the line and bring some real unusual stuff to that. Vinny comes from the Moses Powell group, so I know he's watering him out.
Let's bring Vinny in.
Yeah.
Alan. Vinny, you're with us finally. You've been sitting on the sidelines.
Now, Vinny was originally a Moses Powell student, and he was a New Yorker at the time, so he remembers most of the stuff too at the time. Vinny, anything to throw in on that? One
extra thing.
Come on.
I got my kicks and punches in too.
Oh yeah, you did. Oh yeah. I have to be honest with you. I think both of you should have won that somewhere as a draw.
It was never supposed to be. If you look at the end of the video,
mm-hmm.
you can see the look on both of our faces.
Yeah.
Because when they announced the score,
mm-hmm.
it was like, score. We thought it was an exhibition.
Exhibition, exactly.
Exhibition, you just show what you do. I'm gonna show what I do. And
Right.
that's the end of that.
So when I saw that and I was very confused
Like,
too.
huh? Just
But you know,
You
just
saw
to-
us
Jim,
embrace each other.
we get Vinny in here. You know who they did that to also? And it's running through the internet right now. Oak Tree and Don Wilson.
Don Wilson. Yeah.
Okay, that fight that's on there now that a lot of people have seen was an exhibition fight. Okay, but they were throwing blows like you guys threw. Okay,
Oak Tree doesn't know how to hold back.
well, you know what happened? Oak Tree held back with Don, and Don held back too because they thought it was an exhibition.
Right.
But it was a hell of a fight.
yes.
But they at the end they went to the decision that Don won. And Oak Tree just looked, and Oak Tree just, I should have knocked him out then. Because, what's going on here? But anyway, I mean, they're best of friends now, of course, just like you
Of
guys.
course.
But I want to bring Vinny in because I know he has a little something to say.
He's
Oh,
been
Ben.
with us. He's
Well,
here
yeah.
now.
So, do you prefer to be called Oso or Tyree?
Also, it's easier,
Also.
especially since so many people have a problem saying
So yeah.
Tayari, but they can say
Tayari.
Kowski, they can say Rachmaninoff, they can say Beethoven, but you can't say Tayari. So
But
easy.
everyone knows you as Oso anyway.
You know what?
But
thrills-
I can no. I mean, I'm from the Bronx. I got a problem saying hello, but Tayari, I got no problem with.
Hey, Bronx, 85.
Secondly, I want to say
83rd Street, right above the
187 of Belmont Avenue. 187 Belmont Avenue, Arthur Avenue.
Okay, we
So,
people.
yes, sir. I was with Doc 17 years. Yes, sir.
Yes.
What I want to say is, first off, I only know you. I have never met you except briefly at Alan's event in 2019 when he was so gracious to bring me up. And I stood next to you when Cynthia and Don and Art Camacho, we were all together in a group. I had been introduced to you briefly, but I never had a chance to actually get to know you. And I've seen so much of you this year on Facebook with Cynthia, with all the pictures and everything. But I definitely want to say two things. One, I'm tremendously respectful of how your spiritual level is. And that's the very first thing that you acknowledge. I think it's a wonderful thing that I think that shows the growth of a martial artist beyond this physical thing that everybody is so hung up on. The second thing is I have great respect for everything you accomplished because I wouldn't want to get hit by any of those guys, even by accident.
I was about to say, it's a half hour into the show. We haven't gotten a laugh from Vinny yet, so we needed the little laugh, a little chuckle.
Anyway, but that's what I said to you, Harry. This show is just about everything. Whatever we talk about, whatever we have fun and whatever. And I'll tell people I love Pepe Le Pew. Just had to tell everyone that because they put up something recently. But we as martial artists have different lives besides just martial arts, and sometimes we have to look into other sides of our life and other things we do to make us the martial artists we are. And I promised Harry a while ago that I'm going to have him on this cover, hopefully very soon. Okay, again, unfortunately, I don't have full control of it because I kind of went a different direction, but I am still the publisher. Okay, but I'm not the management publisher at the moment. But I do have most influence because it's my magazine. Anyway, that's besides the fact.
Well,
But, we're working on that. I made two promises to Harry, and I made a promise to Hassan Khalid, and also I made a promise to Doug Pierre. And before I really maybe even stop action, I don't think I will. I promise these guys to get them on the covers and do the right thing by them. So everything
We
I
have
try
to
to
get
do.
Vinny centerfold, but we can't have the rose in the mouth. That's all.
Hey, Vinny, something about Vinny, you guys don't even know. There's a statue of a globe, okay, and there's three guys around it. Vinny, three guys.
There's four. There's
Four
four of
guys.
us on it. 4 figurines.
Four guys.
It's
holding
3
up the
men
globe.
and 1 female.
Now hold on. Do you
12
have a
feet
pic-
tall.
You have to have a picture of that somewhere.
Yes.
If you have it,
I'll bring it up. The name of it is called Olympic Strength.
okay.
Is the name of
Vinny,
the statue. If you
Vinny was
Google
one
it,
of the nude. Vinny was one of the nude models for that. No,
Uh,
you weren't nude, right? No.
no, the only new model, the only. Everybody else is dressed in the unitard. I got a toga on.
you had to
Well,
make
Vinny-
a buck. I get it.
Vinny was one of the models for that, and many people don't know that.
I think
So,
a lot
you
of
know,
people don't know a lot of things about Vinny, and it's good
Yeah.
that we're on the show. We're talking about it because honestly, even I was looking for something. All of a sudden, you pop up out of nowhere, and it's like all this stuff. And I said, more people need to know this, Vin. More people
Yeah.
need to know it.
Well, Vin, you got a picture of Vin?
I got it here.
Well, I'm going to put you
Okay.
solo. Go ahead.
This is it here. It's called Olympic Strength. I'm sorry. It's what it is. Let me see how we could do this better. There you go. How's that? The guy standing in front of it, his name is John Hare. He's the biggest sculpture maker in the country. He's 6 foot tall. The pedestal he's standing behind is black onyx with 44 gold Pan American games all the way around it. And there's 4 figurines, 12 feet tall, 2,000 pounds solid bronze, and a 25-foot globe on top of that with the Olympic rings. And the statue's called Olympic Strength. Oh, it's called Strength of Spirit, Strength of Mind, and Strength of Body. And it has the 4 figurines. One is at the U.S. Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's the biggest statue in the state. And Spice Williams, the martial artist, I was in an acting class with at a place called with Steve Nave, the casting director. One of the other actresses taking the class was Spice Williams, the martial artist stunt woman, Spice Williams. Well, one day we were in the class, and Spice, she's out of the House of Champions. Spice, in the class, she says, "Listen, I just posed for this thing for some kind of a magazine, and they said they need true lineage like Italian, Da Vinci, Italian-looking guys in great shape, or Greek guys with certain lines." And I told them, I know somebody, so call this guy. They brought me to a place called Cyber Effects in the Valley, and they scanned my body with 3 lasers. It's the same process that they did Arnold for the Terminator movies. And then they put my body on the screen in this very first 3D moldings I had ever seen before on a computer. And I'm looking, I said, "That's me." And he goes, "This will be an exact body duplicate down to your veins and moles and everything." And then I go, "Oh, that's great." I didn't even know what the job was for. They told me come in a white unitard and sandals and pose like this and act like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders. I'm like, okay, so I got, we're holding it, and then I go. 3, 4, 5 years later, Spice calls me and says, "Did you see it?" I said, "See what?" She goes, "We got a freaking statue." I said, what statue you talking about?" She goes, "The thing that they made is a statue in the Olympics." I said, "I thought we was going in a magazine." So that's how I got the statue.
That's a story that you don't hear anywhere else. But I got to say one thing before I go back to also, Lou and I are working on, Vinny should like this. We're working on another podcast, okay? And I have a friend named George Montalbano out of Philadelphia, okay? You know who I'm talking about?
I know George.
Yeah. We're going to be doing
Stevie's uncle.
Right. We're going to be doing a thing called Mobbed Up, the Grow King, about Stevie. About George. George is an amazing story. He was in jail for 32 years, okay, on a basic trumped up charge, very honestly. And George is out now. 4 years. He's been to my event for the last 4 years. And such an unusual guy. Guy's really, really very intelligent and some great stories. He was actually a cellmate of John Gotti for 2 years. And he's got some deep stories. So we're working on the show. And it's not going to be about martial arts at all. It's going to be about George's life. and George
be
will bring
about
guests
special
on and
stuff.
people. Yeah, about special stuff. It should be fun. We're just doing it for fun.
Yeah, Vinny, it's going to be about that thing, you know. So
He's trying to get. He's actually working on some dispensaries. He has one in Philadelphia, and he's working on some others. I hooked him up with some people that he's going to work with. He's working on a beer company right now, and I hooked him up with a distributor and a brewer. So, great guy. And listen, again, I always say you help your friends, And if those of you don't know, and I can say because George isn't mine, George was one of the biggest mob guys in Philadelphia. His father was the top guy there for years, back in the 20s. But the guy has some story. I mean, the guy is an author of 31 books on top of everything else. Unusual guy. All right, let's get back to martial arts again, since we seem to go all over the place. But also, getting back to your fight.
Martial arts, hang on for a moment.
Okay.
Here's my question for everybody. I love the fact that Al Weiss, rest in peace, the publisher, editor for Official Karate magazine and all of the other derivatives of it, when he and Emil Farkas did the book, and then they called it The Golden Age of Martial Arts. What stands out to me is this, and this is a long question. When I think about my history and who I have come up under, and I have had no one has asked about how far back I go with the legends of from. Now, I don't have to, I'm not going to mention their names. Let someone.
How far back?
I'm sorry. Say that again, please.
I see you're only 22 years old. How far back did you go?
Well, my birthday was last month, and I turned 30. So, okay, I try not to bring
happy
it up.
birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Belated birthday. But still, hey, we get to do it on the show. Oh, and before you continue, happy St. Patty's Day to everyone. We forgot to do that.
Right. St. Patty's Day.
Because today
Everyone's
everybody's Irish. Everybody's Irish.
So,
Joseph,
no, everybody's not Irish, but everybody can
sorry.
celebrate their birthday anytime anybody says happy birthday, no matter how long ago it was. The moment that they say it, that is your birthday at that moment. But let me get back to the point. Look at how many of these magnificent martial arts champions that we can name, from Grandmaster Jamie Jones to Ed Parker to Jim McLean, Bob Yarnell, who called me the other day, Victor Moore, so Thomas the Puppet, George Cofield, Moses Powell, Skipper Mullins. If I can keep running them down, but it's because I also came up under them as this little, I'm just coming up. And so I've had the honor and the pleasure of looking and sitting, Count Dante, John Keane. Okay, let's not go there. I'm there looking at the great fighters from Linda Denley, Jeff Smith, Arlene Lemus, Joe Ward, Howard Jackson, Steve Anderson. If I keep going on, and I can do it, but let me get to the point. Who knows about anybody now? What is it that we possessed that is not transformed, transferred, or transpired into these people now?
So this is what the show is for. Again, when we get around and say it's about everything, we have no idea what we're going to talk about. We want to bring people on. We're not going to bring a 19-year-old on the show. We want to bring guys that have some background, have a little, a roughneck, because they've been around so many years. So having you on and other people we have on the show is the reason why. So
But look at every week we learn something new with Vinny that we didn't know before. We learn something new with Joe that we didn't know before. So, I mean, this show is keeping everyone relevant, keeping the information going for the next generation. I think that's important, and that's on a serious.
But
That's what we're doing.
Why? But I'm asking, what is it that there are no champions that people are clamoring to see?
I can give you the answer right now. Right now, I can give you the answer. Too many tournaments. All right? There's no really organized, even though NASCAR and there's no organized body that makes champions champions. They just go, you win here, here's a few dollars, go home. It's not like it was years ago, because guess what? None of you guys fought for money. You fought for the win. That was the difference. Vinny, go on. Yeah, I know you have something to say. Vin.
You didn't raise your hand.
If I understand,
You didn't raise your hand.
Tiari, I've been like,
I thought you were
listen,
going
I'm
to raise your little
Italian.
yellow
I can't even
hand.
talk with moving my hands.
That's
I thought you were Italian. That's why you were moving your head.
Well, he's Irish today, you know.
Listen,
No, I am who I am.
wait, stop right there. Wait a minute now. There's a line I draw. These guys talked about all day. I says, I'm Italian today, yesterday, and tomorrow. I got no Irish in me. Go blow your little horn and wear your hat. Get out of here.
Blow your little horn.
Hey, excuse me. I'm the guy named Joseph Patrick Rebello. Now, even though I'm half Portuguese and half Puerto Rican and I cut my chorizo linguiça with a switchblade, doesn't make me a bad guy. But there literally was there is some Irish in my bloodline, and I am really an actual Patrick, you know. But
Then you should be wearing green. I would be a hypocrite.
Alan, look what got started. I'm talking about we're the champions. And
That's what it's all about. Also, that's what it's all about.
may I address his question?
But I was answering your question. And Louis threw out that Irish thing again.
It's St. Patty's Day. What are you going to do? You know, the only thing we're missing is the mob beer.
Why do you keep bringing it up? Let it go.
Well, so
would you please
if I understand your
thank you, sir.
yes, sir. If I understand your question correctly, I believe the difference in when you were coming up, which was obviously before me, and I don't know how that is. You're 29, but you were coming 30. Up and around these guys, 30. You're right. You did say 30. Joe, why didn't you straighten me out on that, Joe? You're supposed to be keeping.
He's very silent.
You're supposed to hang there. Yeah, no, you knew.
See, Joe's out of his element today. He doesn't have his cliff notes, so there you go.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm just being polite.
Okay.
It'll be my turn momentarily, I assure you.
Joe just recorded it. He just put in his head,
Yeah,
Vinny on
I
this
know.
date just made a knock. Bing. He's going to keep that thing.
I'm telling you, he has little people in his head that are taking notes. I don't know.
Oh.
Leprechaun.
If I ever got to bury, listen, this is really good advice from a good Italian. If I ever got to bury a lot of money or a body I don't ever want found, I'm going to show the map to the one guy. Joe, take one quick look at it. I'm going to burn it, and the only place they can get it is out of Joe's head.
That's good. There you go. Hey, that's how we can hide things. I don't know.
So, on a serious note. Also, I think that during streets, martial arts was a way out of the streets, a way to aspire to be better. And I don't think when the money and YouTube and all of this stuff, the UFC and all that stuff, the first thing, a lot of these kids come to me and they say, I want to fight in the UFC. I say, why? They say, I want to be rich and I want to be famous. I say, you know, how many beatings you're going to take before you even see richness or famous?
Yeah, buddy.
You know, the people that get rich on this are the orthopedics, let's face it. So at the end of the day, the guys are trying to work their way out of the neighborhood, and that's the way they made something of themselves. And the guys you're talking about, out of the neighborhood, Thomas LaPuppet, Benny the Jet, Moses Powell, these guys, forget about it. If they come right out of right out of the street, like me. From
I don't know if you guys know, my first instructor was George Gofield.
Yeah.
Okay. So I come back from the streets with George before Tang Dojo. So,
but I think that in that time, I think in that time there was a better respect level that was developed there.
It's
Teacher,
just
student.
different. It's different now. Yeah, I mean, these kids don't have
Well,
the
you know,
respect or even understand their lineage or understand anything really today that we years ago when we were younger we did. You know,
And what's happened with the UFC, it's lost all respect, and no one bows, no one does anything. They don't even shake hands half the time, and that has been a problem. So I don't call mixed martial arts as really a martial art. I call it as more of a brawl at the end.
well,
of the day.
that's the way it was when it came over here in the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Before UFC was UFC, you know, it was like no holds barred fighting. They were coming from Brazil.
Exactly.
They were fighting. It was illegal because we had a thing in New York, and they shut us down. But you know,
Yeah.
you had teeth flying out in the first row, stuff like that. You had style against style, and that's the way it was. And again, it's different now.
Let me get back to Oso.
Yeah.
Oso,
Yes, sir.
your second big fight, not when you were 9, you were a little older,
Go on.
with Benny the Jet. How did that come about, and what do you feel about that fight? And as again, Benny's one of our guests all the time too, and he's also a great human being. So I know everyone, even though you fought, get along like you know.
Yeah, Benny and I are. If somebody could record the video or take the pictures when we see each other, you can see the love and respect that we have immediately. Aaron Banks, Grandmaster Aaron Banks, rest in peace, approached me about the fight, and I'm going to be going into more detail in my book about everything. So everybody get ready for that. But a snippet is, he said, hey, I want you to fight Benny Urquidez. And my position was, yeah, okay, whatever. Because fighters fight. And so I hear this thing and people talk about other stuff, and I don't want to talk about this guy that everybody has made into a demigod. I'm not going to go there. But the truth is, fighters fight. And you can prove it because there's history, there's video, and photographs of them fighting. And there's other people that can corroborate it on the street that are still alive that can do that. That's my easy statement.
About what you said.
Okay, good. So
I understood it.
So fighters fight. So when he said, hey, you want to do this? I'm going, of course, no problem, you know. But then there were two main rules about the fight that I wanted. The first one was I want to be able to fight from the ground. And then number two, I didn't want Johnny Cool to be the center referee. Now, if anybody has the full video of the fight, you can see me walking up the steps, going into the ring, me stepping out of the ring, looking down at Aaron and going, hey man, Johnny Cool's not supposed to be here. We didn't have a weigh-in. What's going on? We didn't even have the same equipment. Now, I wrote a letter that you can see in Official Karate about that. Because I'm going, and so now Aaron said, oh, don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me. I'm going like, yeah, but I just want to make sure that it was on record. But I'm here to fight. So I'm going to do that. Now, Benny had, I forgot, I think he had about 15, either 15 or 16, 17 fights before me. He had 14 knockouts. And I think they told him that I was going to be an easy one. Well, that didn't work out. What I was interested in doing was making sure that I honored the contract, even though the contract that was written, and I may still have a copy of it in my archives. Some folks don't know that I was supposed to fight Gordon Franks.
Really?
For the PKA. Mike Anderson, somewhere in my archives. I'm going to search for it because if I say something, I like to be able to prove it. And
war.
You just had Joe's mustache tingle, by the way.
Yeah, darn Skippy. Gordon Franks. I mean, and again, same body structure. Gordon Franks had incredible kicks. He was with John Longstreet and that whole group through Junri's organization and whatnot. He's one of the top fighters of the day. That'd have been a war. That'd have been, especially been, of course, Mike Anderson, who was a publisher for Professional Karate magazine back in the 70s.
Gordon and I, there is a particular official karate article when they're interviewing Gordon, and Gordon actually says, because I guess the question had come up about fighting me, and he said, "Oh, that would be a great match," because I believe he said he's a technician, talking about me. And so there was an offer presented to him about a fight between us. But in the book, you'll read about how it did not come about. But back to Benny, I didn't forget your question, Sifu Goldberg. The thing with Benny was, hey, let me get this done. But I wanted to make sure that they could see, no, I want to fight from the ground. I'm going to fight up top, but I'm going to fight on the ground. But that's what it was supposed to be. But again, after it was all over, when Benny and I were in the locker room, after it was over, we were talking. And even he said, they told me that you were going to get up and you couldn't fight from the ground. So this was Aaron and all his other people. And, you know, Aaron had a tendency to bend the truth. Yes, sir.
I always respected Aaron for being the promoter he was, but I never respected Aaron for following protocol. Okay. I was involved with Aaron myself a few times. And the real truth of the matter was that he knew what he was doing to an extent. There he goes. Dennis is here. He knew what he was doing to some extent, but Aaron just did what was convenient, just like this show. We just wing it to hope it works out well. But Aaron never did anything that was really would follow protocol. And I watched him many years, and I saw that. So, to your consent, to your story, I could abide by it. That I realized that sometimes at that type of fight, you were up against the odds at that point.
And so he, but here is the part that was really cool, because that was in 1975. I just don't remember the year. I mean, excuse me, I don't remember the month, but I remember after it was over and the conversation that I had with Benny, like some people don't know that Little John Davis, he called me every morning, like 5 and 6 o'clock every morning for almost a year. No, and this is just a couple of years ago. So our friendship is there. Benny's is there. But it was the fact that after the fight was when Chuck Norris said, I want him on my team. And I was the only non-karate, practitioner that was on Chuck Norris's team when we fought in Puerto Rico. And Benny is on the team. So now we are teammates
Mhm.
rooting and cheering for each other.
Mhm.
And so that's the camaraderie and the respect that I think sometimes is just missing now. And that's when I go back to, where are the champions of today? Where are these people? All y'all got is these, like 12-foot trophies that you can't even put in your car.
But-
and
but
that's
that's
the
what-
thing too. Go, Alan. Go.
But that's what the Action Martial Art event is about.
Yeah.
We were able to bring people from the East Coast, West Coast, all over the world together. And there's a camaraderie now that no one's seen in the last 20, 30 years. Because, years ago, all you had was a phone at the house. Now you have, telephones you can call anywhere you want in the world. But the camaraderie of us meeting up at my event or other events, but just basically where we bring in so many champions and great people. I'm very proud of that. We're able to go to the champions and be face to face with these people. And if you guys were competitors, doesn't show.
And I just
let me just 1 second.
Go ahead.
Come on, dude.
No, I was just
Let me
going
bring that.
Dennis is here. He's with us.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
with us. But I just want to say something before you do that. If you notice that in martial arts, boxing, bodybuilding, and other sports, way back when, you had to fight to become a pro. You had to earn that right. And it seems
Right.
now that you fight a couple of bouts, you're a professional, you're a pro. Now you're doing this. In bodybuilding, same thing. In other sports, same thing. And I don't understand that. It's like having a participation trophy.
Or just become a chick.
Yeah,
It's all about money,
you
though.
and you
You know what
get a
it
gold
is?
medal.
It's all about money now. That's really the problem. And
And
like
not only the money-
the UFC has eaten up all the champion, aspects because everyone watches on TV to see that, and it's broadcasted all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
So we're going to change that, Dennis and I. So I want to bring Dennis on for a moment there.
He's with us.
Yep. For people that may not know in the audience and watching us the first time and know something, we started, Dennis and I, well, mostly Dennis started it and brought me on. That was on the Amen, which is the Action Martial Art Network. We're going to have a 24-hour day channel with movies, with shows from the MMA, kickboxing, any type of fighting that was out there, even boxing we can bring on. We're going to working on it. I got to talk to Dennis later privately, but I was working on today with a studio out of New Jersey that wants to do private shows and have them on a pay-per-view channel we're going to be putting up. More like the Karate Kid has the Cobra Kai. We want to make a dozen shows like that. Not like that exactly, but that type of story. I'm also talking to James Wilson right now about doing a thing where Oso and I were both in a movie called Paying Mr. Spaghetti. And we're
Yeah.
talking about doing a series. That was a fun weekend anyway. We had a good
Yes,
time.
it was.
But we want to be doing a half-hour movies or videos, and the same thing with the martial art kid, and start to build processing to bring back the respect factor and the understanding what the martial arts was about in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Give people a little more to worry about and talk about. But I want to bring Dennis on. Like I know he's been working here tirelessly on the channel. So Dennis, you got a few minutes to talk about it. What's going on?
Go ahead. The floor.
Osio and greetings, my brothers, Brother Cassell, Vinny, Joe, and Big Louie. How y'all doing today? Anyway, what we've been working on is revolutionary. It's never been done before on this scale that we're trying to do. And we've got great content, and we should be up within the next few weeks running, because we have a lot of content. We're doing MMA, we're doing K1, full contact kickboxing. So we're doing some great things. And I wanted to bring back, when I was coming up, we had on the weekends a Kung Fu theater thing, a type thing with the Shaw Brothers. And there were some great movies, the five Venoms, great actors, Wang Jiang Li and the gang. And, these movies are classics. And we're going to bring that back. Gordon Liu. I mean, all this was before the period before Jet Li popularized martial arts again, because Bruce Lee he set the mold actually, And I don't care what anybody says, because of him, martial arts exploded in the United States. After that, it went down a little bit, and you had a few other martial artists that tried to, Bruce Lee, a few other people that tried to bring back the genre with Bolo, and it did make some big stars. Enter the Dragon, it made Bolo Yang, it made Jim Kelly, John Saxon. It made quite a few big stars. But after that period, there was a hit spot, and that's when Jet Li came in, and he started doing Shaolin movies, and that's when Shaolin got really, really popular. So we're going to have Jackie Chan, we're going to have Bruce Lee, we're going to have all the Shaw brothers, we're going to have MMA, we're going to have tournaments, and we're doing a lot of things, and we're worldwide. We're in Italy, we're in Africa, we're on every continent, and I think we're in 120 countries, and we have 80 million viewers. So and this is at our disposal. And we're not completely up yet, but we have 80 million viewers at our disposal. We're working on Roku at the moment, and from there we will expand to Apple TV, and then from Apple TV to Amazon. And between these three areas of communication, we're gonna bring the whole world under one big umbrella, and with the world's largest martial art event and the world's martial arts network, and our federation is worldwide. We're going to change some things. A lot of things are going to change, and like you guys were saying, you go in, and a long time ago you fought Mayo Sensei, Seito Kenyatta, when he was fighting back in the Kempo days with J.T. Will and guys like that. It was a different time, and I mean they fought bare knuckle. It was a different time, and those.
One of the things that better happen, and it would be a problem if Ron Van Cleef and Robert Samuel are not at the top of the list of all of what you're talking about, because these were fighters, but they moved into that other genre as well, and their names aren't mentioned enough. And as long as there's a microphone in front of me, I'm gonna make sure that I talk about those men as well. Ronald Duncan didn't get a chance to be able to perform in other ways, but he's in TV shows. Moses Powell has got documentaries. I need to make sure that it's clear.
That's what the channel is for, though. See, also, you just gave an idea. Let's cover the champions in the show.
Yeah.
We can just call the show Champions.
Yeah.
Well,
We have the access to do it.
I have a. Well, you know what? This is perfect. We're gonna talk later about that, but let me go back to something else. What Sifu Alan Goldberg did in terms of the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Honors for that particular weekend was bring together so many people from this country and around the country. So 1,000, 2,000, and I don't know if you hit the 3,000 mark at one point, but what transpires every time when you go to the Action Martial Arts Mega Weekend is that you get a chance to spend the time with all of these champions, and you get to learn from them through free seminars. And so you are around different movie stars, but you are there, and it becomes the kind of family reunion where people just simply enjoy the space and place that they're in, but the community, fellowship of what's taking place. And that's what I love about that particular moment in time that we get a chance to share as a martial arts community. And that was a good commercial for you.
But something I want to say about that
Thank you, brother.
is my event has turned into a thing. People don't even care about the awards. The people that have been there already,
Right.
the new people care. It's about the camaraderie. It's about a weekend of being with friends that we can't spend that much. Especially this year, we didn't spend it. But you know, you don't get a chance. Some events you get a couple people you meet here and there, but you get to an event and there's 30 champions walking around the room, and nobody's got a friggin' ego.
And
You know why?
That's the biggest thing, Alan. That's the biggest
But
thing.
you know why? And I know also never heard this before of me, because I don't invite assholes. That's as simple as it gets. Also.
So, Mr.
At your
Vasquez,
event, Alan,
Vasquez, tell me, the time that we have talked together and that you've been there, has anybody said, what do you think about me and my presence there? Now, that's an unabashed, egotistical question. I'm just wondering, like, how has your experience been with me?
With
You're on my show, aren't you?
let me tell you something. Anytime
That's the simple.
anytime
That's the
that I've
answer.
seen you, whether it was in Atlantic City or in Ohio, you come in so humble, and you always have been. And it's always a pleasure when I bring you on the show when we're doing it at the event. You know, even though in Ohio we didn't have the opportunity to do it.
Right.
The battery was low and it was dying, and I had to, but nothing I could do about it. But you're a prime example of how everyone should be, and pretty much is in Atlantic City at the Mega Martial Arts Weekend, and that's a big positive for everyone.
Yeah, Vinny, go on.
And at the Urban Action Showcase for Demetrius Angelo, the kind of event that he puts on,
The Urban Action Show.
what a wonderful, courageous, really humble guy Demetrius is as well, because he's trying to promote the arts.
Mhm.
And that's what it's about.
He's
Yeah, Vinny,
put a
you
lot
want
of
to
work
say
into
something?
I had a very the first time I went there, it only been 22. Such an old friend, a brother from Sanukas, Grandmaster Bill McLeod, and I hadn't seen him. Okay, now
Lucas.
last time I had saw Bill, he came out to Universal Amphitheater, called me out of the blue, and said, "Vinny, I need you." I said, "What's up?" He said, "I'm out here, and I got a bodyguard, Erica Badu and Roots, at the Universal Amphitheater." And I said, "Okay, why are you calling me?" He goes, "Because you're the only one I trust to have my back out here with this crew." He said, "Would you please come and work shadow with me?" So we went in there and worked, and we're standing backstage, and Erica looked over at me and she said, and I was the only white guy for miles, and she said, "You must be security."
You must be security.
And then I saw Bill at the event with some of his students in line trying to meet Cynthia, and I hadn't seen him. And I said, "Oh my God!" And he's my senior in Sanukas, and he schooled me 15 years ago when we was working out, and I introduced him and the students right to Cynthia. She came around, tickled pink, and that moment allowed me to share somebody that he had always wanted to meet. So it was a beautiful moment at that event that time.
Because you're the connector, Vin. You're the connector.
Joe, go on. Joe,
Thank
go on.
Thank you. Okay, 3 things I got to say real quick before I forget them. 1, if you were told a young teenage boy from New Bedford, Massachusetts, looking through official karate magazines, that he would even have the chance to meet Tayari Cassell, let alone talk to him, let alone get to know him, let alone talk about his accolades, you'd knock me over with a feather. And that's what the Action Martial Arts Mega Weekend provides you with. Things, and if every time I see one of these people inducted into Hall of Honors, and they're tickled pink to meet their legends and the people that they saw through the magazines and the movies and the documentaries, and they finally get to meet them and get that magical, right? We talked about ego, everyone's golden opportunity. That's the good side of ego, where they can have that moment of where they can share it with someone that they admire, that they had pinned up in their basement from a magazine, that they looked at and they were like, maybe they took a seminar with them. And that is a magical moment. And I can't buy that kind of moment. And, you know, we talk about big fights in Madison Square Garden. You know what I remember? I remember an article from Fred Hamilton's tournament. And I remember this young African-American man wearing a black tank top and kung fu pants and barefoot and his hands taped and him blasting Everett Miller. And I'm going, talk about that fight. That was a freaking fight that most people don't even know about. I do. And that was one of your wildest experiences, wasn't it, as far as fighting went?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things you said, Joe.
Those are two. The third one is I want to be part of AMAN. And you know what I want to do? This is the advertisement. Hi, this is Joe Rebello with Action Martial Arts Memorial Moment. Here in this issue of Action Martial Arts Magazine, featured on the cover is Nick Serio from Warwick, Rhode Island. This is issue number, and be able to talk about their life and career, or take a page out of that magazine and show and talk about those people.
We definitely will think about that, and I like the idea that I know Dennis does because you're shaking his head right now. But I have to say two things you just lied about. Number one, you said before you forget. You forget about nothing.
That's
So
true.
let's say before you forget. Okay? And number two, you said about those guys having pictures, post-ups of martial artists on the wall. I'm sorry, mine was Playboy posters. I didn't have no pictures. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But no, Joe, that's a great idea. But here's something like that, what you're talking about. I think Dennis will agree 100%. We want to bring the old timers that are still around doing things. There's too many people who listen. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I lost 3 people: Rico Guy, Papa San Canty. Well, 4 actually. Papa San Canty, Jonathan Stewart, and Black Hawk San Carlos. Those 4 guys were mine. And I think about it. There's 4 black men, and I'm a white guy. But those were 4 guys that I was brought up under that were my advisors. They were the guys that Tate Allen. That's a good idea. Do this, do that. So, respect-wise, people's got to realize that racial thing doesn't work in the martial art world.
That's the thing. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, Chinese, Jewish, Muslim, whatever it is. At the end of the day, you're all there's a brotherhood. Period. The end.
Yeah.
And the racism and all that stuff doesn't exist. The people that do, fall into that, they shouldn't even be involved in the arts at all, because
All right.
Go ahead.
We're going to do a round robin. We're getting close to the end of the show.
Yeah, we are.
Great show. And let's give everyone a couple minutes to say goodbye and what they feel they're doing. I just want to say also, it's also a very unusual thing. He has a security company that he uses dogs as with their security team, which I think is one of the coolest things in the world.
Nice.
But we'll get to
Before
that.
we go to the round robin, what I want to say is that at one time we'll bring on Oso and other people. We'll have videos, and we can actually go and go through, as you said, and go through the whole process of going through what happened at the fight and everything else, and do this stuff, and actually, and just add a lot of color to it, and give some a backdrop, so maybe you'll educate the younger generation, and maybe that'll be helpful.
All right, let's give Joe his last few minutes. Joe?
First of all, gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity. It's always a joy, a privilege, and an honor to be here. Like I said, when I get to see one of my legends and one of the people who I, as a Kung Fu practitioner, admired, and like I said, the minute I saw Fred Hamilton's story, the look on his face, man, I can't pay for a look like that when he went. But that's what makes it all worthwhile. That's what makes Vero Hive such a great opportunity. If you're on any of the other formats, again, check this out. It's worthwhile. You make a lot of great friends here, a lot of great opportunities, and every week it's a whole new experience, and it's a trip down memory lane, and it's a blazing bright future with Vero Hive. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, also, last few minutes. Go on.
Well, I thought that Vincent and Dennis was going to offer something, and Lou and was. So if it's on me, then as I told my wife earlier, the party don't start till I walk in. And that's from a rap group, Houdini, from many years ago. But for me, what I'm thinking about is how do we continue to work together? And the martial arts is definitely a bridge. What I have to say, not just because of the national, international acknowledgement, is the women of the martial arts as well, because that's our field. And I always brag about Linda Denley because that's the queen. I don't care what anybody else says. The stories I can talk about her is just awesome. And but outside of that, you know, the women who support us when we pack up and get ready to go to class, to go to teach, they are still there to do that. They deserve the honor and the respect as well. But as the hunters, the lions, the cobras, we are the ones that are supposed to set the example for our students. And they should be able to depend upon us, and we're supposed to be there for them. And so the support that you all are giving me encourages me to continue to do more, because I'm looking at people who are doing good. And I thank you for your time and the respect that you've offered me. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here too. We're going to get to that other show I want to do also with the
Yes,
Little
sir.
John, and that I think will be very good. Okay, Vinny, last few words.
All right. Uso, it's an honor. I had a good laugh, sir. I can't wait to see you when we get up there. My man Dennis, great to see you. I got to go put my vest on. Doggone it, I still look terrible next to him. Louis, thank you so much. Joe, Alan, thank you again for having me. I want to say one thing about this. Lead by example. Don't lead by your mouth. People see what you do. Not what you say. And a lot of people are real. And if you don't mean it, just don't say it.
Sure.
Yep.
Wise
Thank
word.
you, Vin. Always an honor. Dennis, last few words.
First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here at Vero Hive. We've got some great things coming up. Much respect to you, my brother Uso. It's been a minute. I remember when I first came up to you at the Hall of Honors, I was one of those guys that were like, wow. And you acted like you had known me for 10 years. And I felt so comfortable. I mean, that was the most awesome feeling I had ever had. And I came back the next year and you did it again. And I came back the next year and you did it again. And that's that camaraderie that you're talking about. And I also agree with you that, and we're going to do that. Shidoshi Ron Van Cleef, he friended me earlier this week. And I'm very honored that he reached out to me, and I'm going to, in secret, Alan Goldberg and we're going to make sure that guys like him, you, the pioneers, are recognized. And we have lost a lot of great men, Rico Guy and a few others. Eric Kovaleski, he passed. So we've lost a lot of great martial artists, not only just to natural things, but there's others in different parts of the country that we have lost to, they said COVID, but now, and I just got my first vaccination. I want y'all to know I'm fine. Thank you all for your prayers. I appreciate that. And I thank you all for your concern and your well wishes. And I'm doing fine. As you can see, I'm here. And God bless you. And we're looking forward to see you next week. And thank you, Sifu Alan Goldberg. Nice to see you again. Joe and Big Lou, I need to talk to you.
All right, Alan, take us home.
All right. Just want to say we got some more interesting things happening down the road. I just got contacted today from a gentleman that is looking to do an action martial art hall of fame in Russia, Mother Russia. And we're talking about it now. It may work out very well down the road, but it was just in thought. Also got contacted by a movie studio today out of New Jersey. Project for Bruce Lee, actually. and they want me to be involved in that. And we have a gentleman, Larry Barr, who's supposed to be on tonight, but he had a little problem. We're going to get him on next week. And Larry's doing a charity organization, giving money out to underprivileged martial arts students and instructors. He just asked me to be on his board of advisors, and of course, he's a good friend, and I would help anyone. And I said to Larry, no problem. There's a lot of great things coming out, and I just want to thank Eurohive, Blue, for getting us moving and getting into the future, and also Don Werner with his DonWernerEnterprises.com, and Amen. It's going to be very surprised what you people see down the road, but we got some great things coming. And again, also, thank you for being it, Kempo Joe, my buddy Vinny, my buddy Dennis, and Lou. Thank you, and everyone. God bless you. See you next time. Sure.
You're lucky. We almost stopped.
Tomorrow, do something nice for a stranger. At the grocery store, at a gas station, whatever it is, just do something nice and walk away. That's all.
The funny thing about that is everyone on this show, and anyone that we've had Ron on the show already and other people, everyone who's been on there are good-hearted people. So I don't think it's a far stretch for anyone who's been on the show do something like that, or anyone listening to the show when they see this up online. And the only reason we're able to do it with all the people we deal is because we don't deal with assholes. Anyway, I'm over and done. Good night.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Namaste.
Until next week. Take care.
Yes.